Galaxy Princess here. Today I am going to be ranking the main series Pokemon games. Now, main series does not mean that means, the regional based games. I'm not including the Pokemon Ranger series. Let's be honest, those aren't the best anyways. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is out because again, not main series, spin-off. So that also means there will be no Pokemon Snap, no Pokemon Stadium, and no Pokemon Coliseum or XD. If XD and Coliseum were considered main series, they would probably be S plus tier because they are amazing. So, what am I going in for when I'm ranking these? Now, I don't know if any of these games are going to be S plus tier. I literally just Googled a tier list, and this is what I got. So, what I'm going for is, for one, gameplay. Like, yeah, I know with Pokemon, essentially, like, there's not much gameplay. It's a fucking RPG. You're walking around, and you're just catching Pokemon and all that good stuff. But gameplay is a thing, especially in the later games. Like, for example, one of the things that annoys the ever-loving shit out of me in Gen 1, and Gen 2, actually, is the lack of fucking running shoes. I'm not even kidding. Running shoes. So gameplay mechanics like that. Another thing I'm gonna be looking for is not so much the graphics. So maybe graphics have a little thing into it. Um, and like story is gonna be a big thing, and the amount of hand holding. I cannot fucking stand hand holding in a game. Literally cannot stand it. So with that, let's begin. So we're gonna start with Pokemon Green. Now, for those of you that don't know, Pokemon Green was part of the original release in Japan alongside Pokemon Red. Red and Green are not the games we got. We actually got a game that was based off the Japanese Pokemon Blue, and when it was released here, it was released as Red and Green. Red and Blue, rather. Pokemon Red and Green had a slightly different layout. The sprites are fucking terrifying to look at, to say the least, especially Mew. Like, if you want to be scarred, Google it. It's terrifying. It was the first foundation of games. I've played a very poorly translated Pokemon Green, and you know what? For what it is what it is. So, there we go. We're gonna put Green right here in D tier because, like I said, it was the first of its kind. Um, and I won't be, minus the third versions of games if they exist. I will be primarily ranking these together. Like, Red and Blue are going to be ranked together. So I don't have much to say about Green, but it was the foundation for what we got, but it's still D. Y'all can hate me, unsubscribe, don't care. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Now, Pokemon Red was the first game I ever played back in the day. I got it for my 6th grade graduation. I have a lot of memories with it, and with Pokemon Blue. But Kanto's story is fucking boring. There is no story. That's the problem with it. I got into Pokemon late. By the time I got into Pokemon Yellow was on the horizon. But Kanto's story is fucking boring. You literally, it's just battle these 8 gyms. Stop Team Rocket, even though you're essentially a 10-year-old with a team of dangerous monsters. Beat the ever-loving shit out of your rival. And then beat the Elite Four, and then, like, at the end, you get to catch Mewtwo. So yeah, Kanto story is literally boring. Like, I remember it so well because I've played it so many freaking times over the years. But I don't know. And like I said, there's no running shoes. There's no there's no like the graphics aren't the best to look at. Coffins is actually wrong. And a lot of things in Gen 1 are actually broken as shit. There's of course the famous miss and no glitch. There's the glitch that you can get Mew. Um, there was a way to clone Pokemon very easily. There's a lot of bad translations. Like, so many people believed Raichu could evolve because they didn't fix the text of that one guy in Cinnabar Island. Because it was supposed to be, you were supposed to get, I think it was a Gengar or something. I don't remember. Um, Focus energy didn't work the way it was supposed to. Gen 1 has a lot of issues. I'm going to put it in C tier, Pokemon Red and Blue, because, again, they were America's, and by therefore my introduction into Pokemon. Um, it it's a fun game. Um, but it's also, that was another thing I want to do. Not game not gameplay so much, but more like how long is it? How, like, and what's the replayability value? If you concentrate on all that, you can probably beat Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. I want to say in about like 10 hours or less. I'm sure speedrunners have done it faster. Another thing I don't like about Gen 1 is the amount of grinding you have to do. I hate grinding in games. They annoy the ever loving shit out of me. And that's gonna come up later. So, yeah. So let's talk about the next Pokemon game, which is, of course, Pokemon Yellow. So, Pokemon Yellow was the first third version of a game that we got. And it followed the anime. Instead of getting to pick Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle, you got stuck with Pikachu, while your fucking rival got Eevee. That's not fair. Pikachu would follow you, much like Ash's Pikachu does in the anime. And, like, the gym leaders' teams were based on the battles in the anime. Like, in Red and Blue, Lieutenant Surge has Raichu, a Voltorb, in either a Magnemite or a Magneton, or maybe both. I don't remember. It's been a while. But in Yellow, he only has a Raichu to base off the famous Pikachu versus Raichu battle. You'll fight Team Rocket from the anime, Jesse and James. And overall, you just follow it. Like, there's a way, like, determining what your rival's Eevee is going to evolve into, depending on where, if you do any of the optional battles or not. It's a little bit better, if only for the Surf and Pikachu minigame, which required you to have Pokemon Stadium or a Game Shark to give your Pikachu Surf. And it was a fun game, and, like, you actually got to get all three Kanto starters you could, along your journey. Like, if your Pikachu liked you a lot, you got Bulbasaur. If you talk to this kid, you got Charmander, and once you beat Lieutenant Surge, you could have Squirtle. So there you go. You've already got an electric, grass, fire, and water type on your team. Just catch yourself a good rounded psychic and flying type, and you're all set. So I like Yellow a little bit more than Red and Blue. But not B tier worthy, so high C tier. Now, let's go on to Gold and Silver. Now, Gold and Silver for me was my introduction into Pokemon, a new region for the first time. Like I said, I got into Pokemon late, and by the time I got into it, Yellow was on the horizon. So I already knew a lot of things that what was going on. Like I knew who these Pokemon were because my sister had introduced me to it, and I had watched a few episodes of the anime. So going into Gold and Silver, this was new. It's a whole new world, as the song says. And let me just say, I played Gold first. When I booted that up, I was just amazed. Like, oh my god, it's actually in color. It's not just, oh, I'm in Cerulean City and it's blue. No, the sprites were actually in color. And I can't tell you how baffled I was to first meet my first shiny Pokemon. It was the red Gyarados because everyone finds the red Gyarados. But it was like, holy crap. I remember there was a gaming magazine, I can't think of the name of it, but they had like little stories of like Gold's adventures through Johto, saying about like how he battled the Gyarados and it was tough. I caught it this morning. It was just fun to read. I loved it. I looked forward to it. Somewhere in my house I have those magazine excerpts. I wish I could find them. Um it was crazy. Gold and Silver started the tradition of having a legendary on the box. But at the same time, you could also catch both legendaries. Later on, they became version exclusive, which was a pain in the ass. But you could catch, like, if you're playing Gold, you can still catch Lugia. It's going to be later in the story, and it's going to be a higher level, but you can still catch Lugia. Um, it also introduced Roman legendaries, which those suck. um, the unknown, which are mysterious. I remember walking into the ruins of Alph for the first time and being like, "Holy shit, what is this?" Um, just there's so much, and like Silver is a better rival. I don't even care, like, because your rival was supposed to be your best friend, but he was just kind of a jerk. Silver's a flat out asshole. And he's like, there's like no redemption. A lot of people will say the post game is awesome, and it is. You get to go through Kanto again, yay. But you get to fight stronger of the Cantonian gym leaders. Fighting Red, I've gotta say, that that is amazing, because Red is you from the Kanto games. Like he has Pokemon that you would expect to get if you played Pokemon Yellow. Because he has a Pikachu. He has all three starters fully evolved. He he has an Espeon, which he has an Eevee, and in the manga, the Pokemon Special manga, Red's Eevee does eventually evolve into an Espeon, and he has a Snorlax. Um, and overall, it's like there's just so many mechanics. The day and night cycle was awesome. Breeding. So yeah, Gold and Silver, they go up into. You know what? They're gonna go up into A tier. No, B tier. B tier. B tier. B tier. I need to now talk about Pokemon Crystal. Now, Pokemon Crystal, like like Yellow, was the third game of Johto. Crystal, to this day, remains one of my favorite games. It was the first time you could play as either a male or a female trainer. Um, excuse me. And, that opened a lot of possibilities for kids. That, hey, video games aren't just for one gender, yada, yada, yada. Crystal kept a lot of the same mechanics as Gold and Silver, but added things. The focus is on Suicune, and instead of it being a Roman legendary, now you will encounter it throughout the story, and you'll be able to battle it. Save before you battle it and catch it. It was the game to introduce specific music for legendaries, and it got its own battle theme. And now when you encounter Raikou and Entei in the wild, they will have a battle theme too, so you'll know it's them. I can't tell you how many times I would be playing Gold or Silver at night and by the warm light TM. And I can't tell you how many times I'd be like half asleep and like Raikou would pop up, and I was so tired, I confused it with like Tauros or some shit, and only to realize it afterwards, like, oh shit. So, but Crystal introduced a lot of cool things. There was like a new radio game show where you could earn points. A guy that would teach your Pokemon like Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, or Ice Beam. It was fun. You could catch both Lugia and Ho-Oh as well. Both later on in the game. Lugia you get from the guy in Pewter City. Gives you the Silver Wing. The only way to get Ho-Oh is you have to catch all 3 legendary beasts, which is a pain in the ass. In Crystal in Japan, they got the cool Celebi event. We finally got that. If you have a downloaded version of Crystal on your 3DS or 2DS, the Celebi event is in there. And like, I was so mad. I remember hearing about that years later when the internet became popular. And I was like, why didn't we get this? Like, it was the first official way to catch a mythical Pokemon in game. Because Mew, you only got at events. So, yeah, I'm rambling. Crystal is a solid A tier for me. Like, hands down. So, the year is now 2003. Pokemon has made the leap from Game Boy Game Boy Color, which there were many differences, to the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance is a lot more powerful system. Let's introduce Ruby and Sapphire. Now, Ruby and Sapphire, they don't have the same magic for me that Johto does. But at the same time, they have it. Because, holy shit. Let's introduce a game where there's actually a real version difference besides what Pokemon you're going to encounter. It wasn't a big one. If you're playing Ruby, you're going to fight Team Magma, who wants to expand the land. If you're playing Sapphire, you're going to battle Team Aqua, who wants to expand the ocean. It goes deeper into that, and it actually sounds like the plot of a Clamp manga, because one wants to save humanity, and the other one wants to save the world, rebuild the world for the Pokemon. It literally sounds like the plot of X 1999, doesn't it? And Sapphire holds more special in my heart than Ruby, because I played Sapphire first, and I fell in love with Kyogre. Kyogre broke my trend, too. Like, it was the first water Pokemon that I actually favored. Like, I started with Charmander when I first played Red. I started with Cyndaquil when I first played Gold. And even in Sapphire, I started with Torchic because I like fire Pokemon. But it was still, it was a thing. I really, there was so much going on in Ruby and Sapphire. Like, secret bases were cool. I remembered mixing records with using my sister's Game Boy Advance. We mixed records, and like, we even used it with each other's games. So we would have these trainers to battle multiple times a day and just get money, and well, only once a day. But it was the coolest thing ever to me, because you could battle them. And like, you're battling yourself. It was amazing. It also, like, if you got Pokemon Coliseum with a bonus disc, you got a free Jirachi. Like, but you know, that's not earning it. So yeah, Ruby and Sapphire they're also the generation that introduced the running shoes. Praise hallelujah. Because running shoes. So Ruby and Sapphire for me, like Crystal, are going in solid A tier. Now we have to talk about Emerald. Emerald was the third game, and like Yellow and Crystal before it, it added a lot of features. Emerald, you encounter both Team Aqua and Team Magma. It also has the first cutscene in a Pokemon game when Rayquaza comes down from the sky. Also, Generation 3 brought in a lot of legendaries. I didn't mention this, but they did. Like, up until, like, well, Gold and Silver had a fair few, too. Because you had Lugia, Ho-Oh, and the 3 Roman Beasts. So that's 5. But with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, you have Groudon, Rayquaza, Kyogre, and the 3 Reggies. That's 6. And then, like, Jirachi and Deoxys are mythical, but yeah. Ruby and Sapphire, you cannot catch both Groudon and Kyogre. Emerald, you could catch both of them, plus Rayquaza. Well, you could catch Rayquaza in the other one too. The champion is different, and you get the secret battle with Steven at the end. And yeah, it's I don't know, like there's no other words for it. Emerald is also, I'm gonna put Emerald up here a little bit ahead of Ruby. In A tier, and like they added the Battle Frontier. I'm in the minority. I don't like the Battle Frontier. It's a cool gimmick, but I don't like it. Okay, I'm weird like that. So going forward, we're on to Diamond and Pearl, the first games on the Nintendo DS. The reason I got Nintendo DS was for these games. I also had Pokemon Dash, but we don't talk about Pokemon Dash. So Diamond and Pearl. Actually, you know what? It's not Diamond and Pearl next. I forgot about Fire Red and Leaf Green. So Fire Red and Leaf Green are our second trip back to Kanto, if you count the Kanto in Gen 2. Now, these games use the Ruby and Sapphire engine, so we've got running shoes. It improved so much that was broken with Kanto. You know what? I totally spaced out. So, Johto also has a pretty shitty story. I forgot to mention that. It's basically a rehash of Kanto's story, just like, a few years later. Hoenn, which is Gen 3, has a pretty interesting story, actually, as I brought up, so that's why they are also ranked high. So Kanto's story is still shit. They didn't do anything, so how I'm going to judge the remakes is like what they added onto it. We got the Sevi Islands, and there was several events wandering around. And also, I forgot about, speaking of wandering, you could catch Latios or Latias in Ruby and Sapphire. And in Emerald, you got to pick which one you wanted, and then if you had a fucking e-reader and an e-card, you could get the other one. But disregarding that, so yeah, Kanto still has a pretty shitty story. There's a bunch of exclusive events for it on Fire Red and Leaf Green. I never got to do them. Running into Johto, Mewtwo's more of a challenge now. Running into Johto Pokemon was pretty amusing. It makes them a little bit better, in my opinion. And the Elite Four rematch is better, but they're still only a solid B tier. I'm sorry. Kanto fans, shoot me down. I don't care. I don't like Kanto. It's so fucking boring. So now we're into Sinnoh. Sinnoh. So, as any Pokemon fan knows, there's HMs. Because, you gotta block your path with progression. So like, oh, there's a tree that you need to cut down. Your Pokemon needs to know a move to do this. You need to surf across the water. Your Pokemon needs to know how to do that, etc., etc. Sinnoh had like everyone complained about Hoenn with its, well, yeah, Johto too, because Johto had Surf, Whirlpool, and Waterfall. Hoenn had Surf, Dive, and Waterfall. So the 3 water HMs. Sinnoh had Sinnoh had Defog, which is a useless pile of shit. I think it got Rock Climb. It's just And Sinnoh for me began what I like to call the legendary gauntlets. If you had all of the Reggies that if you transferred your Reggies from Hoenn, you could battle Regigigas. There's the Lake Trio. There's Cresselia. There's Heatran. There's your cover legendary of Dialga or Palkia. There's Giratina. And if you were lucky enough to get the member card and the Oak's letter, that's Darkrai and Shaman. So that's 8. 9 legendaries, rather. And if you're playing Platinum, more than that, but we'll get into that. Sinnoh's story is actually pretty fucking good, though. The story alone is what's going to hold it back from C tier for me. Because it actually has a really good story. And you got your first champion, your first female champion, and she's very engrossed in the story. She's a part of it. But I don't know. Sinnoh moves very slow pace for me. So, Diamond and Pearl go at the low end of B tier. Platinum. Platinum introduces the story of Giratina. And the Distortion World. I love the Distortion World. I really do. It's an interesting mechanic, and I like Giratina a lot, but I also like Ghost Pokemon. And I don't like the legendary gauntlets, like I like to call them. And I don't know. Just, there was something about it. I'm gonna put Platinum, because Platinum had, all the other added features that focus on the Giratina story. We got a new outfit for our trainers. I'm gonna put them a little bit higher, but it's still, you know what? You go into B tier. There. Just because I like Sinnoh's story and like the gameplay's getting better, but the HM still fucking suck. So now we're on to the Gen 4 remakes of Ruby and Sapphire. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. When I saw that come out, I was stoked beyond belief. Because like I said, Johto was huge for me. Johto is a special place in my heart. Now these games, unfortunately, outside of a plethora of events, and if you were to play them now, you wouldn't be able to do it. Unfortunately, they didn't add much to the story. They didn't add any. Like, the only new feature was like, hey, you can play your friends online now, like you could with the other Gen 4 games. Other than that, Johto's story still sucks. I mean, the Kimono Girls got more involved this time, but Johto's story is still ass. I'm gonna put them. I'll put them above Crystal, because at least they have a little bit more weight than Crystal does, but like, no. The lore, they went deeper into the lore, but then like you can do running shoes, like you can permanently run now without holding down a damn button. And it looked gorgeous, but yeah. So we have arrived at Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. Now, this was a big shock because for a while we went from colors to metals to gems, and now we're back at colors. And I've got to say, one of the things I like about these games is the fact that the story is fucking phenomenal. A lot of people give Gen 5 shit because in Unova, there is no previous Pokemon. Like playing Johto, you could find Pidgey early on. Playing the Hoenn games, you could eventually run into like Pikachu and stuff. Sinnoh too. Like one of the only fire types in Sinnoh is Ponyta. Other than that, you're gonna get Chimchar. Deal with it. Unova didn't have any of that. So Unova truly to me felt like I'm playing this is my first introduction into Pokemon all over again. Amazing story. Um didn't have a ton of post game content. I mean, up to this point, the only ones that really did have a lot of post game was Gold and Silver, and the post game was Kanto. Like, let's be honest here. Other than that, every other game's like Emerald the Battle Frontier. Same thing with Platinum, or just go catch all the fucking legendaries. Yeah, it was interesting. You've got the running shoes. The game looks amazing. Um, like Diamond and Pearl, it has the day and night cycle. It also has a season cycle. Like the game will have different areas accessible depending on if it's winter or if it's summer. Um, it's just I have no other words. Um, they're going up in S tier. Come at me, fight me. Um, so Pokemon Black and White, aka Gen 5, also was the first game and only game to get a sequel. No third version, a full-on sequel. Two different games, but it's a sequel. You play as a different protagonist. The characters you knew in the first game are a little bit older. You've got a different rival. The story is even better. It has a huge amount of post-game content. Everything that was amazing about Black and White applies here. Unfortunately, these Unova games do have a lot what I call the legendary gauntlet, but they are, in my solid opinion, worthy of the S plus tier. Just when I played Black and White, by the time I was going, like as of now, and that's with completing everything in the game, my Pokemon are only in their 40s and 50s because I don't grind. But in Black and White too, they're in their 60s, 70s, and that's with doing everything in the game. It's just it's phenomenal. Um, well worth. They were well deserved games. So now we jump into Generation 6. We got Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. This was Pokemon's first leap into 3D. Now, I have a lot of things I like about X and Y, and I have a lot of things I don't like about X and Y. One of the things I don't like is how fucking easy it is. You can turn off the experience share and make it a little harder, but even with that, it's still a fairly easy game. I do like the roller skates. I prefer them over the bicycle. I said that. The story is very interesting. I like the story of X and Y. Team Flare is very boring in comparison to Team Galactic, Team Aqua, Team Magma, and Team Plasma. I didn't even really go into them. This isn't scripted, so I'm just rambling. But it was fun. I hope if they revisit Kalos, they include some more things that actually make the game flesh out this region because it's a beautiful region. Um, it's our second region not based on Japan because Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh are all based on Japan. Unova is based on California, I believe. And Kalos is based on Paris. But, like, there's not a ton of post-game content, unfortunately, outside of, like, shiny hunting, breeding. There's a battle maison, but like I said, I usually don't participate in those. Not a legendary gauntlet this time, thankfully. Still, solid games. Not as good as Unova, though. They go into A tier. With that, we are now on the Gen 3 remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I didn't mention this in X and Y, so I'll bring this up now. X and Y also introduced trainer customization. Not only could you pick the gender of your character, you could customize their hair. Like, one of the girls' hairstyles is to have long ponytails. You can buy different hats. You can take your hat. Well, you can't take your hat off. You can change the color of your eyes. It's really, really cool. It was this amazing feature. I loved it. And then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out, and it took that all away. You can't do anything. I think, it's been a while, I think you can choose the color of your trainer's skin, and it ends right about there. But I don't even think that. And at the time, I was like, oh, well, these are remakes, so they want this to look like Brendan and May, or Ruby and Sapphire if you prefer, but later on, it proved that you didn't have to do that. So, I don't know. They did add the Delta episode, which fleshed out Rayquaza's story. It allowed you to catch Deoxys. In game. Not as easy as X and Y. I remember some of the Elite Four giving me a hard time. X and Y also introduced Mega Evolution stayed in this game. And Mega Evolution, it's my least favorite new gimmick that they've tried. Like, yay, Pokemon gets a temporary new form. Big deal. And not every Pokemon can do it. Hoenn's story is still fascinating to me. And with the added Delta episode, we're going to put them right here. So now we make the jump to Generation 7. Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. I have so much to say about this game. It's handholdy as fucking hell, and it feels too fucking short. Sun and Moon feel incomplete to me. I, for one, was excited. Like, the story is I love the story. I fell in love with Lily. Absolutely fell in love with her. And it's cool. It's like, hey, instead of doing 8 gyms, you're gonna do these island challenges. And I like the idea that when you beat the Elite Four, you're the champion and people can come and challenge you. That's cool. I always wanted to see that in a Pokemon game. In fact, I wished when I played Pokemon Stadium that when I beat the champion and the gym leader castle, the next time I played, I would have to fight myself and see if I could beat myself. I always wanted to do that. And they finally pulled it off. Alola has a really cute story. It introduced regional variants, which is something that should have been a thing a long time ago. Because, hey, if Pokemon are going to migrate to other locations, like, that's even, like, Pokemon migrating to the Sinnoh region. Like, Sinnoh is a lot colder than Hoenn, for example. It's further north. I like the regional variants. I'm pissed that it was only Gen 1 Pokemon that got the treatment. Like, F you all you Gen 1ers out there. It's not the only good generation. To all of you saying like, oh, they have a ring of key. There's a ring of keys for a Pokemon. They're running out of ideas. There's a bag of trash for a Pokemon. Friendly reminder, Voltorb and Electrode are just Pokeballs. Execute is just eggs. Grimer is mutated sludge. Magnemite is a magnet. Magneton is a 3 magnets stuck together. Carrying on. Sun and Moon introduced Z-moves, which is something it's my favorite of the new gimmicks. Because any Pokemon could use them. Certain Pokemon got special ones, but I love the animations for them. Snorlax's to this day makes me keel over in laughter. If you haven't seen it, look up Snorlax Pulverizing Pancake. You'll find it. And I'm just really disappointed. Sun and Moon are fairly short as far as Pokemon games go. And there's not a lot to do post-game outside of catching the legendaries and going after the Ultra Beast, which those are another new addition to Pokemon, is the Ultra Beast. But based on the story alone, I'm gonna put Sun and Moon in B tier. Actually, no, C tier. I'm in C tier. Because now we gotta talk about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. AKA the third version of the game, which should have been Pokemon Z. Not Pokemon Z. Like Pokemon Stars or whatever. But it has a lot of elements that should have been Pokemon Z, like the Zygarde forms, all that shit. Oh, excuse me. I have not completely finished Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because I can't stand the tutorial parts. I hate how it holds my hand. I like to be able to wander around. Like, don't just teleport me to where I need to go. Like, let me wander around a bit. I have seen things. I know what's coming. It focuses more on Necrozma, which is one of the Ultra Beasts. And I hear that fight's a pain in the ass. But, like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, these games really laid it on thick with all the legendary encounters. And I hate when games just become the legendary gauntlet. I like the story. I don't mind catching legendaries, but give me a story with them. Don't just be like, oh hey, there's a wormhole here. Go catch a legendary. So, but from what I've seen, it has more content than Sun and Moon, so we're gonna put those in B tier. So let's go back to Kanto again. In Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. You already know how I feel about Kanto's story. It's fucking boring. So let's do it for the umpteenth time. And let's also take away Battle and Wild Pokemon, with the exception of the legendaries and Snorlax. I'm not a fan of these games. They're a good game to introduce a child into. They're a good game if someone's only played Pokemon Go. Tell them like, hey, you want to play a real Pokemon game? They're easy as shit to shiny hunt in. I do like that you can see shinies in the overworld in this game. I do. But, and I really like the idea of being able to pick Eevee as your starter, because I'm like, oh shit, you realize how much versatility you would have? Eevee can't evolve, but it can learn moves based on, it can learn specialty moves based on all of its evolutions. Pikachu can learn special moves too, but Eevee has more versatility. But it's way too handholdy. Like, your rival will give you out free items. Your rival will, like, heal you. And just, like, no. I remember crawling out of Mount Moon barely alive. And here comes my rival to challenge me for a battle. Only to KO me and send my ass to the Pokemon Center outside of the Rock Tunnel. Not Mount Moon, the Rock Tunnel. So, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are gonna go in D tier. Just because Kanto is... I'm tired of playing Kanto and it's way too fucking easy. So, we've now arrived at Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Generation 8 of Pokemon. the Galar region. Now, one of the biggest gripes about this game is the lack of the national Pokedex. There's all the Pokemon aren't in it. But you know what? By this time, we're over 800 Pokemon. You know, give the programmers a break. So I don't care about that. They are kind of easy. Not as handholdy as Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, thank God. The post game wasn't much. There is a small post game. It's not much. I don't like the Dynamax Gigantamax thing. It's a stupid gimmick. It's for the same reason I hate Mega Evolution. I hate this. It's the same thing. It's temporarily. It's only temporary, and I don't know. I don't think it's the best gimmick in the world. Pokemon appear in the overworld now like they do in Let's Go, but they don't stay shiny. Like, in fact, I was playing Pokemon Sword, and I got like a fucking Bolthound came after me, and I didn't realize it until later that the fucker was shiny while I was fighting it. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta catch that. But you know the battle with what the fuck's his name, Eternus. Like you can literally throw a heal ball at it and catch it. Like I miss the like sitting on the edge of your seat, like, holy shit, am I gonna catch this? Like the battle with Giratina and Platinum, like, damn. That had me on the edge of my seat, and that fucker killed me a few times. So Sword and Shield gave us additional content in DLC. The Isle of Armor, which is basically like a little mission mode thing. I'm not crazy for it. The story is fucking dumb. It's basically you have to befriend this new legendary. So I'm not crazy for it. It's an open world thing like the wild area, which I like the exploration. It's cool. The Crown Tundra was the second one, and I was so looking forward to it, but it's pretty much the same thing. Like, you've got some lore with one of the new legendaries, but a missed fucking opportunity was done with the Galarian legendary birds. Like, they could have had so much more story than that, than instead of them just appearing at a tree. And then, like, you have to chase them. But I do enjoy Galar quite a bit. So these go, for me, B tier. Now we have arrived at Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So, when news came out that Game Freak wasn't developing this, I was so fucking nervous. Because this is the new thing. I don't like the art style. I get what they were going for, but it's fucking stupid. And as remakes, it added nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like, it improved on the underground a little bit, and that's the best part of the game, is the fucking underground. It didn't add anything to the story. The post game is just a legendary gauntlet. Sinnoh deserved better. Let me just go on the record, I was excited to go back to Sinnoh. Because DS games are not easy to emulate, so I hadn't played Sinnoh since I first played Platinum. Since I first played Platinum, so I was excited to go back to this, only to be massively let down. And it feels slower somehow. Like, I didn't think that was possible. So, I'm sorry. But, D tier. I'll even put them below Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Because they added nothing. So, now we've arrived at the fucking bane of my existence. Legends Arceus. I don't consider this a main game. I don't really consider Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee main games either. But Game Freak does, so I guess I gotta include it. A lot of fans praise the ever-loving shit out of this game. Because it's open world and it's what Pokemon was meant to be. No. I already mentioned I hate grinding. Like, a lot of people brought... Like, I didn't bring this up with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But, like, they make it so... Oh, you can't challenge this gym unless you have a water type. You can't challenge this gym unless you're a certain level. And to me, that requires grinding. And it's like, no, if I want to challenge the fucking gym, let me. If I get my ass kicked, I get my ass kicked. I learn, and I go out and try to better myself. Arceus does the same fucking shit. Like, you can't get to a certain... You're stuck in the same area until you get a certain star rank. Now, before you say, oh, you only played the tutorial, blah, 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 I've actually completed the whole fucking game. I am a 9th star member. About halfway to... 10th star. And I have completed the Pokedex. I don't got a research level 10 for all of my Pokemon, but I've completed the Pokedex. I have beaten Arceus. And I'm going to say it. You can throw your backlash at me all the fuck you want. Game is fucking garbage. It's full of fucking plot holes. The story is a hot mess. Like, it acts like you're supposed to be in the past of Sinnoh. But at the same fucking time, it mentions future things. Like, people are supposed to be afraid of Pokemon. But yet it mentions, oh, there's ride Pokemon in Alola. Oh, my friend has this bakery in Galar. And it's just like, okay. The mission mode format does not work for Pokemon. I will say I like the exploration. I like being able to see Pokemon in the overworld. I like to be able to catch them without engaging them in battle. I like being able to see shinies in the overworld. I like all that stuff. But I don't like the mission mode. It's lackluster. Post-game content is ass. Just in general, it doesn't work. I like a lot of things. Like, I like, hey, if all my Pokemon faint, I don't automatically black out. Catching the fucking forces of nature is a royal pain in the fucking ass. Just, it does not work for Pokemon. And you can fight me all you want. F tier. It's garbage. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. It's also very handholdy, especially in the beginning. And it's trash. It's not Pokemon to me. It's more of a spin-off. And I'm mad because this has such potential for lore to bring in things to the Sinnoh region. I wish Game Freak would have developed Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and let whoever it was, IICP or whatever the fuck their names are, develop this piece of garbage. And we're like, Sinnoh deserve better. So that is my tier list. You don't like it? Don't care. We've got Gen 9 on the horizon. Maybe I'll update this then. But until then,